All right, in 3, 2, 1.
Run! Go! Get to the podcast!
Are you telling me that you built a time machine out of a podcast?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and
Podcast.
and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Hey everyone, welcome to Get to the Movies. That's Get to the Movies with the number 2. My name is Tiago de Souza.
I'm Nick Gambino.
And I'm Neil Carson.
And yeah, it's the 2020 and we're talking about the Skywalker. The last Skywalker.
I wonder if he just improvises or he's been thinking of this for hours.
I
and
thought you were gonna be like,
really, I just go with
I
it.
thought you were going to do like Yoda or something and be like,
That's like Return of the
I can't
Jedi
really
Yoda,
do
like
that.
when he's
He's like,
dying.
yeah, well, that's the only Yoda.
But he's
Yoda.
like dead. What am I going to do, Baby Yoda? What am I
Baby
gonna
Yoda.
do,
He doesn't talk.
Well, I know. I'll just
Does
move the
Baby
hand.
Yoda? I haven't
But then
watched
nobody
Baby
I
gets it.
finally watched it, Mandalorian.
Did you watch
Yeah, I
it?
watched
Did
it
you?
like binged it in like 2 days.
I'm the guy who's always telling you to watch it. And
I
you're the
know.
one that watches fucking Mandalorian, but can't get you to
Yeah.
watch Altered Carbon, can't get you to watch Witcher.
I will. Well, maybe not Witcher.
No,
I don't
you
know
won't.
You
about
need
it.
to watch
No,
Witcher.
you won't. You know
Witcher's
why?
good.
Because there's another show that's going to come out.
Yeah, man. I still haven't seen Breaking
But
Bad.
that's the thing. This is the fucking hard thing today is that I have a longer list of shows that I need to watch than shows that I'm watching.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
horrible. It's
And then it
horrible.
just keeps coming on, so it's hard to keep caught up.
First
You know
world
what it
problems,
is?
am I right?
Yeah, you know what it is? It's television shows are now as good as movies. Like one
Pretty much,
episode,
yeah.
don't look. He's gonna give me that weird look, like he always
I don't
does.
agree.
They are.
If you
Oh, they're
watch
100%.
Altered Carbon or some of these like
Oh, yeah.
Netflix shows or whatever, you watch one episode and you're like, that one
the
episode
quality's
is as
fucking
good
amazing.
as like a
here-
Hollywood blockbuster.
Here's why I say no. And I said this before. The pacing is different. The pacing is made to fit into a TV show pacing, and it does not feel the same. There's something that still feels
But that's the
TV
difference.
about it.
That's-
If you take any of the greatest one you're talking about, take that, put it on a big screen in a movie theater, go and pay
They
$10 to
do that.
$15.
Yeah, it's called a
I know,
trilogy.
but go pay $10 to $15 and watch it. You're gonna be like, it doesn't scale up properly. There's something
No.
off about it. No.
They could take a
No,
whole season
I don't agree
and
with that.
condense it to
I
like a
agree.
3-hour
I don't-
movie.
Name one.
I
and it would be
understand
Name
you.
one
epic.
thing. Name one thing.
I understand. Star Wars. We're talking about right now. You have a
We're talking
three-part
about
series.
Mandalorian is basically
You have a
episodic.
three-part series
Yeah, that
in Star Wars,
Yeah.
right? Not Mandalorian.
Yeah,
I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's
Star-
for movies, yeah.
Yeah, that's broken in pieces.
Well, the pacing that's
And
No,
so
no,
the pacing
each
is
movie
set
feels
up
like
for
a
three.
fully complete movie, and it feels grand and everything else. Now we're
But
not
I'm
talking
about like the quality of the shows,
Okay, let's
not
talk-
necessarily
well,
the
no,
pacing.
but
I'm
I'm
just
talking
saying
about-
like shows have gotten so good that it's like you
Actually,
feel like you want to skip.
yes
a
and no.
movie and then-
Mandalorian, while great,
no.
if you watch certain
No.
things about it, you're like, oh, I see.
talking
They
shit
no,
about
no,
it.
like
We're
when he
gonna
lands
change
the
the
ship.
topic on the
no, when he
fly?
lands the ship outside in space on like docks on another ship, you watch, you go,
Dude.
oh, they skipped a little bit.
Yeah,
they
Disney-
did. It's a little
What?
bit. No,
Disney
they
did
skipped
Anyways,
a
back to
little
my
bit.
back to my point. You have Harry Potter. It has like 8 parts. You have Twilight.
That's not what I'm talking
and
about.
You're talking about
No, but each movie feels like a fucking big movie. Even the Lord of the Rings, though it's split into 3 parts, and even as a to be continued thing, it feels like full. The shows don't need to do that because it's like
Watch
next
Altered
episode, they can-
Carbon.
Diego, he's tricking
he's-
us.
he- no,
tricking
he's not
us.
tricking me.
You're,
Like, I don't
feeling
agree with
tricked
him.
'cause you
I don't agree with him
I
at
know.
all.
I agree with what he's saying, but that's
I
not
don't
what
agree
I
with him.
said. What I said is the quality of television shows
Yeah.
have either met or surpassed.
No.
most
Yeah, no, I
movies.
know the
true.
trick that he's
Not
planting,
true.
but
Are you
it's
talking about
true.
in terms of visual effects and all that shit?
I'm
Yeah,
talking
'cause
about
you're adding-
visual
Oh, yeah.
effects.
Yes.
I'm talking about acting. All
Yes.
the act,
No.
dude. Now
Yes.
it's like
Oh, acting, sure.
you have
fine.
like everyone in
Yes.
Hollywood is now coming to
Acting,
these
sure.
shows. Like it was.
Absolutely.
Do you remember that weird transition when you started seeing big Hollywood A-listers like on television?
Yeah, I
And
remember
you're
Glenn
like, what
Close
the
going to
fuck?
Damages and like just other things going, oh,
Yeah,
that's
you're like,
different.
what's
Yeah.
happening? Are these
Yeah.
people like just not?
Because
are
that
they,
used
like,
to be considered a
'cause-
demotion almost. Like you'd have to.
Oh, that
like,
was
don't
definitely
go
a
back to
demotion.
TV.
You're like not a star anymore if you're on
Yeah.
television.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
It's not
that's
that
like
way
a certain
anymore.
category. And
Yeah.
now it's like, you know, you can come to Netflix and still be like a mega, like Tom Cruise could do a mini series or a whole season of
And
some
be
show,
all right.
and
Yeah.
like nobody would even.
I think
blink
there's
an
a
eye.
lot.
They'd be
There's a
like,
lot of
whatever.
series that has shown the same quality as film. Of
Yeah.
course, a story structure are different from a series than a films, but I think the quality, what you get out of it, can be at the same level and have been on certain shows compared to movie at the same level and even better than certain films that we expected to be at a high level.
Yeah.
So and for example, we're talking about Rise of the are happy with the final.
They're all idiots.
So
That's how I feel.
Because I'm serious. Like I spent weeks like seeing all these headlines, trying to stay away from spoilers, even though the media loves spoiling fucking movies for you in the headlines.
Yeah. Or even just saying Rotten Tomatoes, like bad Rotten Tomato score, and then you're like.
But then I looked at Rotten Tomatoes, and it was like a 93 from the
Audience.
user score, and then like a 50 or
it's
whatever.
53. It's 53%
And I was like,
from critics. Yeah.
"Are you guys kidding me right now?" But then you look at the last one, The Last Jedi,
Yeah.
or Last Jedi. What is it?
Last Jedi. Yeah.
Last Jedi.
Last Jedi, yeah.
It was like the audience hated it, and the critics loved it.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
like, I can't trust these clowns.
they're
I don't even
clowns.
know why I listen to critics at all. I mean, I'm not a critic. So don't.
I mean, I think the issue that I'm having is I think people today it's too easy to criticize something than to
yeah.
enjoy it.
yeah.
And I was like, oh wow, I'm gonna get the final story, the final film to this like decade of films from Skywalker, from the storyline of the Skywalkers.
Yeah.
I was excited about it. I was
Yeah.
truly excited about it. There were certain things within the film that I didn't like, but I still loved the film.
Sure,
I loved
exactly.
and I'm gonna watch it again because it was great to see something come to an end.
Are we doing spoilers or non-spoilers?
Yeah.
I want to do spoilers.
Yeah.
I want to do spoilers.
You can't
because
talk about it without
all those
spoiling. We've all seen it now,
sensitive
so-
people can shut the fuck up.
All right.
Yeah, that's
All
how
right,
I feel
don't,
about
don't,
it.
don't yell at
The
our
one
audience.
thing- so
don't
I-
yell
Well,
at
it's
our
not our
listeners.
audience.
I will say, like, for me personally, if I see a movie by myself, I'll have a different takeaway sometimes than if I see it with like a group of people that
Yeah.
are like that I know are into it, and I'm like in, it's like seeing it with an audience
Yeah.
versus like watching it at home,
Yes.
right?
Right.
So I saw it with like my whole family. It was like 15 of us,
Yeah.
and it was like all my nieces and nephews, and they were excited to see it, and they're like gasping and laughing and
Yeah.
reacting when they're supposed to react.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm like, oh, you can't fool me, J.J. Abrams. Like I've
Yeah.
seen this shit a mile
Yeah.
away. But that allowed me to like get into it and appreciate the effect that it had on them.
Yes.
So there were like moments for me when like the whole teleportation thing where we're going to teleport like objects
Yeah.
while we're communicating. I mean, they kind of set that up in The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I thought to myself, like, while I'm watching, I'm like, well, Leia got blown out of a spaceship into outer space and was like a cube of
And
ice.
Mary
and then just
Poppins
like,
herself back in.
yeah, just like went,
Yeah.
put her fist up and was like, "Brr," like flew right back into the spaceship. So I was like, if they could do that, anything's possible. Now
Yeah.
they can just make objects teleport and
Right.
all that. And then, there was a point in the movie where I just went like, I can't criticize. I just gotta like I gotta be on this roller coaster and enjoy the roller coaster
Yeah.
because it's a nonstop. There's like no slow moments. Even though
Yeah.
the trailer might make you feel like, oh, there's gonna be
yeah.
these little moments
Yeah.
of like, heartfeltness.
Yeah.
Like, no,
I
this
felt-
is like a fucking roller coaster.
Seriously,
It
is.
was.
And I thought
It
for the
literally was,
For the
yeah.
most part,
Yeah.
the pacing was actually pretty solid. Like
Yeah.
I felt like whereas Last Jedi, you disliked that movie more than I like Last Jedi, but it does feel a little jagged and off.
It has
Right.
much more slower parts.
Yeah, there's
than
slower
this did.
parts,
Yeah.
but it's a little bit just sort of like uneven in the pacing, and the comedy sometimes just feels like too much or too goofy at times.
Right.
I thought Rise of Skywalker didn't do either of those things. I thought the comedy was well placed. It was humorous, whereas it didn't like dive too much into comedy. It was more humorous, just like the original trilogy did.
I need to watch it again. There were because
Yeah,
I
I
saw
was
all
paying
the
attention to
comedy
that 'cause I
beats, but
remember
for
your-
some reason it didn't hit me.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
you
Because like I went in with this like idea that this movie was going to be garbage, and I was waiting for the garbage to happen,
that's what
and
happens.
and that's what
Yeah.
fucked me up because I was like, "What the garbage isn't happening," and I was like, what are these people so upset about? And then it was like halfway through the movie, I could like let go of that, waiting
which is
for the
good.
garbage. and then-
Doesn't that suck?
It was a
Yeah.
good film.
I really hate
Yeah.
that.
It
Even high
really was.
expectations are the same thing for me. Like you
Yeah.
go in waiting for it to blow me away, and then it's not blowing me away. And I'm just enjoying it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, just fucking stop, man.
Yeah.
yeah.
Can you just? Can
And
we
we
just?
saw in the IMAX too, which is like
Did you?
awesome.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it was great to see it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we went to reclined seats and shit.
yeah.
Oh, it was
I want to
just
try
so
this
nice.
D-box shit because they had a D-box at the theater, which is like
Dick
the
box?
one. The D-box. I think it's called D-box, where you sit inside one of those chairs and the chair moves and it like sprays you with water.
Oh,
and,
you're talking
hits
like
you
the
with smells
4D
and
stuff?
stuff. Yeah,
4D,
like
yeah.
the 4D shit. I was like, I kind of want to try one of those.
That'd be
I've never
interesting.
tried it, and apparently they released them for like a lot of movies.
Really?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's 4D.
There's one around
So-
here somewhere in DC or something.
So how do you guys like the twist?
The Palpatine thing?
Palpatine.
I actually liked it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I sent you the meme, which is like hide and seek champion 1983 to 2019. It was like, where the fuck was this? Like, what the fuck?
He's just chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With
exactly.
like an army of like a trillion
Yeah.
stormtroopers
Yeah.
or whatever.
And they
Exactly.
brought Ian McDermott, I think is his name. They got the original, the guy who's Palpatine in the prequel.
Oh,
Yeah.
did
And
they?
the
I
original-
wasn't
is a
sure
real
if
guy.
they got him, yeah.
Yeah, they had him back, and he's great at it. You know what I mean?
He did great. Yeah.
And I liked his whole part when he comes out, that whole part at the end with the fucking, he's got the thing, and it's like,
The arm.
You were
the
like,
whole
this guy's
arm.
like super powerful.
yeah, like I was
Yeah.
actually like, this is a formidable villain. Like this guy feels and looks and like this is a real fucking
But it
villain.
was just how they
But if
sold
you
him.
really-
Like,
well,
they
if
could have
you-
done that with that goofy guy that got easily killed. And
Snoke. Well,
Snoke.
Snoke in the
Yeah.
first in Force
Yeah.
Awakens felt a little more formidable when they had him as a huge holographic
Projection,
thing,
yeah.
hologram, whatever, and you were like, "Oh, Jesus, this guy looks formidable," and he was mysterious. You didn't know who he was or where he was or where,
Yeah.
and everything. And in the Last Jedi, he's sort of like, "Okay, he's okay. He was fine. He wasn't." But
I didn't know
but
who the bad guy was in Last Jedi.
Yeah, then they
is there a
killed-
bad guy?
Well, it's a Palpatine technically. I mean,
Yeah.
they never see him, but like
never see
he's
him.
kind of like. But
I mean, if you
Kylo
really
Ren
think
is
about
always playing the Darth
Palpatine-
Vader-ish.
But Kylo Ren from the
But-
beginning has been like ambiguous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the
that's-
beginning,
but I
like
like
the
that.
first movie, you were like, "Is this guy gonna flip?"
He's
Is
like
he-
Darth
he's the
Vader
one
with
that's
more
confused?
uncertainty. He's
Yeah.
like Darth
More
Vader with
uncertain-
more
yeah.
uncertainty, and I like that. His unpredictability, kills his father, it almost kills his mother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't know what's going to happen.
But if you think about within the storyline, Palpatine has only been hidden for 2 films.
well, all the films.
Yeah, well,
Well,
no,
for-
two
two
films.
films,
Because
if you really think about it.
Return
Oh,
of the
that
Jedi,
is
The
true.
yeah.
storyline.
That is
so if
true.
you really think about
Yeah,
the
that is
storyline,
true.
he's only been hidden for 2 films. So,
But it has been like many, many, many years.
no, I know many years within when the films were made, but
As many years as it took for those films to come out is how
It's
much
5.
it advances.
Is it me or did
Yeah.
this film
30.
feel like JJ was like, dude, to the other director, like, you fuck shit up. Now I have to just shove all this shit down their throats that they didn't see coming.
did
And it's
say-
all, this film feels nothing like the last film. Story-wise, all these story elements, it's just like, I'm going
So
to
he
shove this
mentioned-
shit down your throat, audience, and you just have to
When
just
he was
deal
doing
with it.
press for this film, he did mention that like he wasn't like knocking Last Jedi, but he was like it was pretty meta. He's like, and that was like he didn't say it even in a negative way, but it was like it got real meta and sort of like that's what Ryan he can do, and it was interesting to do that. And you can really only do that in the second film. He goes, if you look back at Empire Strikes Back, which is the second film, that got pretty meta too. He's like, you could do that in the middle film. You can't do it with the first one. You can't do it with the last one. But if
yeah.
you're gonna try some shit and do some different crazy stuff, you gotta do it in the second film.
yeah,
Right.
And I was like, yeah, that's a really good fucking point.
Yeah.
And I thought he stuck the landing. I really liked Rise of Skywalker a lot.
My
Like,
favorite scene, which like was funny, the second I saw it, I was like, I wasn't certain how it was going to play out, and I was like, oh man, this could be bad. Like when Harrison Ford.
oh yeah.
So, and then it played out, and I was like, they nailed it. Like both of
Yeah.
them nailed this scene.
That was
Like,
great.
I felt the
like,
emotion.
I was
that
like,
was
I'm
so
in.
good.
I'm in.
That was so good. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I love the fact like when they were using the Force and they were trying, and Chewbacca was in that ship. I was like, holy shit, there's some
That was-
powerful motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was
they're
like.
pulling this shit back.
I was
Yeah.
like, I didn't know
Holy
Jedi's
shit.
were gods or something. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is going on
Yo,
here?
there's
But I was
some
like, you know what?
serious
I'm gonna let it
shit.
go. I'm gonna let it go.
And then when she's climbing
Yeah.
the thing later, jumps over the thing, it's like she's making herself float early on in the movie, and later on she's like having trouble jumping from thing to thing. I'm like, you just float your fucking ass over there. You got
made
plenty of
herself
power.
float?
I think it's a state
yeah,
of
earlier
yeah,
on
yeah.
she's like floating herself when he first
But
sees
she's
her.
meditating.
Oh,
She's
yeah, that
meditating.
was
Yeah,
just
but
a
also,
meditating
but
moment.
she's grabbing shit
and she
from
was
the fucking
near all the
sky
trees
and-
that had the
Yeah.
metachlorians in them.
But all
Yeah.
right. She's also grabbing fucking ships from the sky and everything. And then there's later on, there's certain things that happen. I'm like,
But you
float
saw
your
what
ass
happened
from here
though.
to there. You're good.
But you saw what happened.
it doesn't
She
matter,
didn't know
though.
the limits
Yeah.
of her power.
Yes.
Which then the
She fucking
strike-
Palpatine the thing.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
Palpatine the thing.
But then they
Yeah.
did that whole like tie-in where like they would feed off each other or something, and they're like twin Jedis, but like
Yeah.
in
It's
force-wise,
kinda
not
Leia
like
and Luke.
related. But
Yeah.
I love how they have
Right? They're not
genetic
related, yeah.
differences
They're not related.
in power.
Well, no, they're not related.
yeah.
No.
But yeah, and then at the end, like one like would feed the other one or something like. That's why they could do all that shit. That's
Yeah.
why they could like
Yeah.
teleport shit to each other. They could talk to each
I
other
liked
face
it.
to face. Like
It was
easily.
different. It's like, do we want the same thing over? We criticize when there's same thing over and over, like Force Awakens, and then he does something different. In these last couple films, things were done differently. In Rise of Skywalker, that was a different thing. I was like, I'm good with that. You know,
It's
what I mean?
not Star Wars. Of course, it's something new in Star Wars.
Yes, it's
and you
Star
never seen
Wars.
it before. That's why it wasn't Star Wars.
Yeah.
But now it is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
accept it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I almost feel like what they need to do now is just let go of all the Jedi shit.
They are. Mandalorian is really no Jedi shit. They mentioned it. They mentioned the
what
word
they're gonna
one time.
what's going to happen is when
Same with
Mandalorian
Solo,
finally
Solo
does,
and Rogue One. There's
Yeah.
the Rogue One had
but
a
those
little
all
bit.
came out before.
No,
But I
they're in
guess
the middle of all the trilogy. I'm just saying the only fucking shit that's
So
the Force is the
Mandalorian
Star Wars,
is-
the Skywalker saga.
Mandalorian is
that's
set
true.
up 5 years after Empire Strikes Back.
Is it Empire Strikes Back or no? It's
Empire
after Return because he says that they
Empire
say the
Strikes Back.
Republic's gone. No, they literally say the Republic's no more. That's the
It's
whole point.
5 years after. I just read it.
That doesn't make any. Well, then it's after Return of the Jedi too. It has to be. Look it up because they're talking about the.
If Return of the Jedi happened within 5 years.
Yeah, but they might as well say how far after Return of the Jedi it is.
because the
then.
Empire was clearly not gone.
It wasn't
after
gone,
The first
yeah.
film.
Right.
They just took out the Death Star.
Exactly, and it's there in the second. It's there in the third. It's there until they destroy the second Death Star and they kill the Emperor, and then it kind of like they won.
Yeah.
But no, Mandalorian. They are no more. It's actually kind of cool. There's like stormtroopers were all dirty and kind of washed up and sort of like exiled, almost like Ronin.
Yeah, they're like
Stormtrooper.
they don't have a controller. They're sending them commands via their little touchpads or whatever.
Yeah, but no, it's pretty cool. It's Mandalorian's. It's a good one. Now I just read a headline. I haven't
You
read the
said
article.
Return of the Jedi?
Yeah, Return of the
Yeah,
Jedi.
you're right. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, that's what you meant, right?
25 years after that.
25 years.
Oh, is that
So,
long after? Oh.
The Mandalorian is set 5 years after the fall of the Empire in The
Fall
Return
of
of the Jedi.
Yes.
And 25 years before the rise of the First Order.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's 5 years after Return of the Jedi. So
Correct.
it's
Yeah.
1988.
Yeah, that's great because they
Just
could
kidding.
introduce like a new, like for a show like this, they could do like season 1, season 2, season
Yeah.
3, and at the end of season 3, like drop a Jedi, and everybody's gonna be like, oh shit, because it's been so long.
Yeah.
Well,
that you're
that's-
They
like,
use,
it
literally use the
plans.
word one time in all of Mandalorian, and it's like really quick.
Yeah.
Just mentioning this thing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, okay, there actually is the Force in
Yeah, 'cause
Mandalorian,
you got
have-
Yoda.
Yeah, Baby Yoda.
Baby
is
Yoda.
a-
Baby
is a
Yoda.
thing.
Which the writer is really pissed off that people are calling him Baby Yoda.
Well, because they won't release the name.
Yeah.
But we don't really know anything. Just gotta watch.
Oh,
the
the
fucking show.
writers are
Yeah.
upset that everyone calls it Baby Yoda.
The writer, yeah, he got upset that.
Probably
people-
not.
but
Probably
it's
not
because
probably.
there's
It's
no name
clearly
to it.
not
upset.
Yoda.
It's clearly not.
dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we don't know.
Yeah.
You really.
What do
have,
you mean you don't know?
Watch
Yoda
Mandalorian, you fuck.
disappeared, and then he literally shows up as Blue Yoda at the end of Return of the Jedi, and he's like,
Blue Yoda.
I'm dead. You see, whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying?
That's how he talks. It's true.
That you know.
Yeah, like they show him clearly dead.
Yeah.
With Hayden Christensen.
Why did they do that?
That was great. Whatever. I'm into it. Oh, the other thing I loved was at the end when she starts doing that like meditation thing where she's trying to talk to all the other
Yeah.
Jedis before her.
Yeah.
And they're all like, all the Jedis
did
are
like-
inside of you. And I was like, all right, well, I have to say that. But they had all those voices come on.
There's a
And then
lightsaber
at the
joke in
end-
there
when you, when you saw the credits, they had
There's
like
a powerful
everybody.
joke in there somewhere. Is that what you
There's
said?
a lightsaber joke in there somewhere, and something about the Force. Force and the
What
lightsaber.
color is it?
All right. Keep
Did
going.
you guys see the credits where they showed like Hayden Christensen and Samuel Jackson?
Because the voices
Yeah.
were them.
Literally
yeah.
everyone
Yeah.
that has
Ewan
ever been a
McGregor, I think?
Jedi, yeah, with like
All their
with, like,
voices
their
are in there,
voices
yeah.
were in that scene where they're all like
That's cool.
talking. Because I was like
Yeah.
listening.
I heard
in the
Mace
theater.
Windu. I heard Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
heard like
I heard Ewan McGregor.
What did I
think.
hear? I heard somebody. Yeah, Ewan McGregor maybe would be the one that stood out or whatever, and they were all like saying like, "I'm with you, I'm with you," and
Yeah.
I was like, "That's kind of cool that they got
was
all
cool.
those different people."
I
doing
liked
it.
But
it.
that's really
I
interesting
think
that
they did
they
film
all-
a visual like to go along with that. They did film a visual to go along with that, and then I think
scrapped it?
Yeah, they scrapped it. I don't remember if it was for timing, pacing, or if JJ was like it just didn't feel right. But they had like Samuel Jackson and fucking Ewan McGregor.
Oh,
Hayden
that would have been
Christensen.
cool if they all just showed up in blue.
I hope they released
and
that
they're
at
all
some
just,
point.
like,
just
surrounding
like
her or
fucking like an
something.
army of like fucking Jedis, and
But
then they
that's
like
the-
fucking collapse into her.
Yeah.
And then like that would be
Yeah.
cool.
That's
now,
so
I hope they release
amazing.
that.
Like
Yeah.
if you really think about, that's so amazing on the flip.
Yeah.
Because she's a Palpatine.
Yeah.
And all these Jedi's are with her. That's just like great.
Yeah.
That's an amazing ending.
It is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I
if
hope
you really think about the power between good and evil, that all these Jedi's have
Yeah.
brought this evil source to good.
Yep.
Right.
That's great.
They
like
flipped it, yeah.
if you really think about it,
I hope they release that deleted scene where you actually see them all later on, in some sort of Blu-ray
Maybe,
release
yeah.
or something. But what I didn't see her being related to Palpatine. Did you? Because when you try to figure it out in Force Awakens and
No,
even
there are
Last
definitely
Jedi,
things that felt like shoehorned in, and I just was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go with this."
I
Like,
never. I was always like, is she related to Obi-Wan? Like, what is it? And I never thought in a million years it was going to be Palpatine.
Well, because everybody assumed Palpatine was dead. There
Yeah.
was no reason.
Though
to
you never
assume
saw
that
him die. Yeah,
He got thrown into a big old hole. But then I said to my nephew, because my nephew was like, he got thrown into that big ass hole. And I was like, yeah, but so did Luke. And Luke just slid right out that tube and fell into the
Yeah, I mean, he got
Millennium
thrown in the
Falcon.
reactor.
Exactly.
He got
Yeah,
thrown in that big
very
reactor
true.
fucking thing. So you would think, but he's also Palpatine. He was one of the most powerful beings.
He didn't come off as that powerful. Yeah, I don't know. They never
well, in
really,
this
because he
film
was
he did. In
always
this film
pulling
he did.
strings. He was like the puppeteer,
Yeah.
like, and they always made Vader like the one.
Yeah.
running
Just the
around
fact
doing
that he could
shit.
shoot fucking lightning out of his goddamn
Oh, he was like, when I
fingers.
saw this movie, I was like, oh, I didn't know this guy was like that badass. Like,
Yeah,
this
it was
guy's,
actually pretty-
like fucking psycho.
I actually love the visuals of all that, and when Kylo Ren comes back and brings her to life and like everything.
So
like,
there's
just the
like
whole
there's a moment
ending I was
when
really
they first
into.
show him, like he lands, I guess, his ship on the Palpatine
Yeah.
planet, and then he's like trips over something, and he's like, oh, he's all goofy and shit,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, so now that you're not like a
Did
bad
you-
guy, you're like this goofball, like Jedi
Yeah.
guy who's like, cool.
Did you
Like-
like goofy?
Did you notice that?
I did in
There
a
was
way,
this
but there's
scene-
more
At
of
the
like.
end?
At the end of the movie,
he
there's a
was
scene where
rushing.
he's running. Yeah, but it was
never saw
kind of
him
like
rush
they
like
were
that.
trying to like show that now he's like not this serious. Because before it was like anything he did was like calculated.
Well, he smiles
and
for,
now
like, the
he's
first
just smiling
time.
and
Yeah.
tripping and falling and being goofy.
When
And
she-
he's like, "Oh, I'm coming for you,
Okay.
Ray."
How
And I
come-
was like, "All right, goofball."
Did
Like,
you see the video they released, which is that whole scene set to "I need a hero"?
Yeah, yeah.
Holding
I
down for a hero to the morning.
I didn't
It's
see
really
that.
great. He's running and doing all that shit. It's really
That's
good.
funny.
But I did feel like if we're gonna talk about flaws, like for the most, I love the movie. But yeah, like when they kiss,
yeah.
I
that
didn't
felt
like it.
off. I didn't
Yeah.
see that ever really coming. I was like,
Yeah.
what was the point of that? Like
The whole movie,
I
I
think
was
that
waiting for
ruined-
them
to
to
me-
kiss, which like.
Oh, you did? I
Yeah.
didn't. I was like,
And I
what?
felt like in
I was
the
like, just
second
hug.
movie there was like a weird because I definitely didn't think they were going for like a brother sister thing.
Yeah, I just thought it could go
It ruined their
beyond that.
to me, it ruined the connection because they had an incredible connection.
I felt
with
like
each
it went
other.
beyond that.
and
Like,
it was
didn't have
it was
any
like an
kissing,
incredible partnership,
boyfriend girlfriend.
and
Like-
the
then he-
kissing part
then he
didn't need
died.
to be there.
Yeah.
yeah, I felt the same way. I didn't feel like the kissing part,
But-
I think their love for each other, their partnership was strong enough to stay in its own, and the kissing threw it off.
Yeah.
You know,
But at the same time, if they just hug, because I thought they were going to embrace and hug,
Yeah.
and they didn't. But if you think about it just visually and the way it played out, if it was a hug, what kind of came after that, where he smiles and he like really feels like for the first time, and he looks like he'd found peace.
Maybe that
and
was
then he
him
disappears.
transferring.
Wouldn't have felt right if it wasn't a kiss
I
that
think it
preceded
would've.
that.
I
It
think
wouldn't
it
have.
would've.
Maybe
Think about
that
it,
the
it's
kiss
just-
could have been
no.
him transferring the life force.
no, I mean no.
was that before or after?
No.
That was
They
before.
definitely
That was
made
before.
it. They
No,
made
no.
it clear though that
He healed
Yeah,
her
yeah,
before.
he healed, yeah.
It brought her back. Then she
no.
wakes up. She kisses him.
But
he
I thought it
smiles,
was
and
like-
then he disappears and dies.
If they didn't
Yeah,
have the
that's what
kiss
I
and
thought
they
it was
just
like.
hugged, it really could have shown strength of their friendship and their connection. I don't think the kiss was.
I think he should have
understand-
disappeared while they were hugging, but then you never
Yeah.
would have seen the smile. And I thought that smile, there was something
No.
about that I thought really worked. Like I thought it made him feel like
Complete.
He felt
Yeah.
peace. He felt like
that was like the
Yeah,
editor,
that's why
the editor's
see,
room
I'm
or
thinking,
whatever.
I
They
think
were like,
the opposite of you.
let's keep the kissing.
Yeah.
I
I
think
think
they
that,
did like
yeah, I
20
think the
takes
opposite
and
of
then
you.
they were like,
because I think
fuck
if the
it.
kiss wasn't there and he still smiled, I think that still would have worked because they've had a true connection from all three films
Yeah.
that nobody else ever had, and I think it still would have been strong enough. I think actually it would have been better without the kiss because it would have shown true friendship.
Yeah, there was that shirtless
So-
scene in the second one. Remember?
That's right. She didn't seem particularly upset after he died. I mean, just for like a second.
He didn't
and
really
then She
die.
was fine.
He's a Jedi.
I know. I'm just.
He became all he did. He needed like 5 minutes to like flip from the dark side.
Did you
to
want
the
to
light
see him
side,
as a
and all
space
of a
ghost
sudden-
though? At the end, sort of like they did
I
at the end of
wanted
Return
to
of
see
Jedi.
him as
I
a
wanted to see
space
him
ghost.
along with Yoda, along with everybody. I wanted her to look over and them all to be at peace with one another, just kind of be there. Leia.
Maybe there's a
well,
deleted
he was
scene with
he was
that.
stuck in immigration.
The fact that he faded away was like, that was indicative to me of.
Yeah, that's
him.
what they all did. Obi-Wan did it. Yoda,
Well, they didn't
Yoda
show
did
Samuel Jackson do it. That guy got thrown out a window. And then Joe's body goes splat and then fade. Like- Oh, poor Samuel.
Oh, that's
his,
good.
his
Oh, they
blueness
also
now. He's
cremated
like
Darth Vader.
Darth
Darth Vader was cremated too. That's true, but
Yeah.
He didn't-
So
he
you
didn't
don't
just
necessarily
disappear.
need the fade, I guess. That doesn't
Yes.
guarantee blueness.
In fact, there's
You
no
don't become
consistency on
Dr.
the fade at
Manhattan.
all. There's no consistency on the fade.
Yeah, there's no consistency.
Yeah.
But the thing that I don't know, I recently watched before I saw this movie, the last one, Rise.
Last Jedi?
Last
not
Jedi.
Rise, what's the last one?
Last Jedi.
No. The last of the prequels. Sorry.
Oh, Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, Revenge
Yeah.
of the Sith. And there's a scene where like Samuel Jackson confronts Palpatine with like 2 or 3
Yeah, I
other
saw that
Jedi, and then Palpatine just like literally like these
Destroy
Jedi's
the
are garbage. They like take their lightsabers out, and he's just like dead.
Yeah.
And I was like, but it wasn't even well choreographed, and I was like,
because he kills the other
these
two
are
guys.
Jedi? Like these are garbage. These guys should be able to like grab spaceships out of the air and pull them down to the planet.
He kills the two Jedis within 5 seconds,
It's
and
like
then he has
seconds.
this whole fight.
They only use the Force when it's convenient to the story. Like honestly, like well, okay, use the Force.
Well, that's what
dude,
made
they're-
like so when I saw her doing all this crazy
Levitation
shit in
and
this
shit.
movie, and it always makes me go back to like every Jedi I've seen get his ass kicked, and
Yeah.
I'm like, well, then
Yeah.
I guess Jedis aren't made equal. Like I don't.
Well, no,
fucking
they're
know.
not. They're not because the
Well,
Force
there
is
was
strong
that,
in this
that
one. The
hokey
Force
Jedi
is strong
in
in this
Rogue
one.
or whatever. That guy's like,
Yeah,
I'm a
and you also
Jedi, and I
see-
was like, all right, guy, like get the fuck out
Yeah, I
of here.
love
You're
him.
with
like,
her, you also
Yeah.
see that
Johnny
it's,
Chen or
it's
whatever.
also a
Yeah.
genetic thing what type of powers you have.
Well, yeah, some of them have more
Yeah.
Mandalorians. What is it called? Metachlorians.
Metachlorians,
Metachlorians. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Everybody forgets the metachlorians. JJ's trying to like make everyone forget. And Disney's trying to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is a
Mandalorian.
headline from today as we're recording this. Mandalorian season 2 spoilers may solve major Rise of Skywalker mystery. So they could do, I mean, not really. It's going to be Mandalorian.
What is the
season 2.
mystery? Like, where did the First Order come from?
Maybe it kind of starts to
Nah,
set
that's
that
not
up.
a
or
mystery
not.
to me. I
Not
don't
really.
really
Nobody
give a
gives a shit.
Like,
But
I just hope the show is as good as season 1.
Hux just got his fucking.
I know. I
He
thought
just
that was a
got-
cool. I was like, oh, this is like a redemption arc. Like, I mean, the guy was always goofy from the first film
Yeah.
forward. But then to have him be like, I hate Kylo, like he's always bitch slapping me, he treats me like shit, he's a bully, and then they just kill him.
Yeah. What did you think about Rose being like, nah, I'm gonna stay here, do some
I didn't even.
clerical work?
It's so funny. Like it didn't even phase me.
I didn't even think. I was like, there's
Yeah.
so much going on. Like honestly,
I
Yeah.
felt like that
It's a good way
whole
to not
side
be
quest-
not have to explain certain things and finalize things.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, if you think about it, like they can't explain everything, or
Yeah.
else would have been.
Yeah, it's a
She
2.5
did
hour
a mission
movie.
with-
A continuous-
Like, it's a long
yeah.
movie.
and she was
It's
like
a long
on
movie.
one mission in
It
Last
was-
Jedi, and it
oh my
was
God,
kind of a
dude.
little bit
Yeah.
shoehorned in. Like,
You like Last
was
Jedi,
fine.
and the more
I
I
do.
think about it, the more I remember, the more I'm like, God, that was such a bad movie.
Did you
That
rewatch? Have you
movie
rewatched it recently?
Takes place over like an 8-hour period.
It's a-
from beginning to
it's a
end.
funky movie.
and
I
the whole
like it.
movie, it's like about a ship being chased with like no solution. Like, and
I like it.
The whole movie, she
I like
won't
that
tell
movie.
the dude what
like
the
that
plan is because she has no plan. And then they send off to some casino where Benicio del Toro shows up, and then like nothing happens. Don't even get me started. No, you know what it is? It's like you feel like there's no payoff. Nothing happens from beginning to end.
Yeah.
That whole movie, and then that whole scene at the end where Ray like makes the rocks levitate.
You know that happens in Empire Strikes Back. A lot of the shit you
know,
talk about,
yeah,
everything gets
yeah.
fucked in Empire Strikes Back. Nobody's fucking
I was getting ready to
accomplishes
say-
what they're
No, I
trying to
didn't feel
accomplish.
like bad.
Luke-
I didn't
Luke
even
finds
feel
out-
like bad things happened. I didn't even
I was
care
gonna say,
that
that's
Luke
just like
died.
Empire
Like
Strikes
that
Back.
meant
I'm
nothing
just saying.
to me.
I'm just saying. If you're gonna say nothing really happened, fucking Luke finds out he's his father. I mean, things happen, but it's sort of like he finds out Darth's his father. He cuts off his fucking hand.
But that's a great movie.
Han gets fucking.
There's a lot of flying in Empire Strikes.
Sorry,
Name all of those things that
Point
happened
carbon.
in this movie.
Like the kid has the broom and he makes it move.
Are you fucking kidding me?
They free the fucking animals.
That was going to be the spin-off series where they had like the
they
the
free
other
Willy.
trilogy.
They free Willy. I'm waiting for the
Nothing
scene where they're like,
happens. Literally
and he just jumps
nothing
over
fucking.
into
Oh, the only
ocean.
thing that happened is he drank from that weird animal's
Tit.
breast and the blue milk or whatever it was,
Yeah.
the green milk. That happened.
But if you really think
And it
about,
was all over his beard.
let me ask you this because he brought up a good point. He brought up a good point. Is
his
that
beard is just covered in that thick ass shit.
Empire? Yeah. So it's a it's a movie cut from Kingpin.
yeah, that's Jesus.
So he brought up a
Oh,
good
man.
point. Empire Strikes Back is literally almost the same thing as The Last Jedi.
I
here's
see the
my question to
similarities,
you.
but like
Here's
Empire
my question
Strikes
to you.
Back was a infinitely
Well,
better
here's my
movie.
question to you.
Because actual
Is
important
that-
things happen.
Is it kind of like the formality of the film kind of outdated?
No.
Because it's literally almost the same thing. It's just new generation, new technology. new event happening within the same.
No,
almost
Last
formula.
Jedi was like like Last Jedi is an entertaining film. You can watch it from beginning to end. It's
Yeah.
well shot and
I'm good
it's
with
well
that.
acted and it's the special effects are fantastic.
I'm good with all that.
All of those
Yes.
things. You know what? We had this conversation before, and I actually found randomly I came across some YouTube video where a guy spends an hour
You were so
breaking down why the reason Last Jedi is a bad movie, or one of the number one reason, is the opening scene where Poe does that like office phone call prank on.
I
on
love
the
that.
guy,
You
and
know I love
loved
that
it,
scene.
and
I
I fucking
loved it.
hated it.
I was
I was like,
cracking
is this
up.
just because moments after that scene they show
Still
like
waiting for hugs.
people people dying with this dramatic slow-mo shot and like all this slow-mo like sad music, and I'm like, wait, but
How is
didn't we
that
just do like
bad?
this hilarious scene where he's like prank phone calling like the head of the First Order,
here's
like
the
an
thing.
idiot? He's like,
Here's the
I am
thing.
the First Order leader. He's like, I'm still on hold. You there, buddy?
That's a great scene.
Here's the thing. It's like I bet
It
you if
set
that
the
guy
wrong tone
didn't
for
start
a
off
movie.
if that guy didn't start off that fucking rant about that scene, nobody would have really fucking brought it up because it was a great. I thought it was a good not a great, but a
I
good
noticed it in the
transition.
theater when I saw that movie in the theater. I was like, the moment
didn't
I
like
was
the
watching
joke?
it, I was like, wow, this is like a big battle. They're going up against First Order. It's like they're the underdogs. Like, how are they
He's
going to
a
get out of
cowboy.
this?
It's
How
a
are they
fucking
going to?
He's a
distraction.
cowboy,
Yeah.
man. He's
How are
like
they
Han
gonna handle
Solo
this?
in that way. Like, it's just sort of like Han Solo would have tried some shit like that. Think about it.
Exactly. This is what I'm saying.
We're good. How are you? Remember that whole thing he
But it's
does when they
Harrison
call
Ford.
in?
Yeah.
Yes. Because it's Harrison Ford.
You know,
Oscar
that's
Isaac
what
is-
I'm may
saying.
not have been
Am I
Harrison Ford,
correct
but in
here?
that scene,
If you think about it,
They
the
didn't-
formula. It's like, is it today?
no,
Because
but
the
they didn't-
formulas are
when
still
Harrison
there
Ford
within
did
the-
it, they did not show the guy on the other end. Both times. 'Cause
So
he,
that's what-
he
that's
does
the
it in Star
difference?
Wars. He does it in Star Wars. Remember, he's like,
Yeah.
"I'm fine. How are you?" And
Yeah.
then in Return of the Jedi, he does a similar thing again when he's
code
on the
or whatever.
Ewok planet or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
where he
yeah.
calls up and he's
Harrison
like,
Ford-
"Oh, everything's good, buddies." Or
Harrison
whatever.
Ford
They
is-
never show
is
the
a-
other guy. They don't establish there's another goofball
It's a boring
guy.
conversation anyway.
Are you kidding me?
What's his name? What's the actor's name who plays
Oscar
the
Isaac.
First Order guy?
Oh, Donald Gleason.
Donald Gleason.
Donald Gleason.
They established him as like a goofball, and I wish they hadn't done that in the first film because I want them to feel like formidable, like even their leadership, and I felt like they tried to rein that back in this movie.
I can't believe I'm so on your
Didn't
side
they?
right now, Nick.
But didn't they?
Think about what I'm saying. Think about what I'm
Donald
saying.
Gleason like instantly killed
Think
when
about
he
what I'm
betrays
saying.
them, and he's being a goofball, and then the guy
gets
they
killed, like,
replaced him
halfway
with
through
was
the movie.
like
Ford-
a bad guy.
Yeah.
Like,
Harrison
you could tell.
Ford was the same thing for 3 films.
No.
Don't tell me no.
No,
He was the
no.
same thing for 3 films.
Don't
And you
even
just
compare
said he wasn't Harrison
Han Solo
Ford.
to Poe.
Now, what
Come
am
on.
I
They're
saying?
not even close.
Oscar
is that
Isaac is a great
people
actor,
are
though.
too
He
critical.
is a great actor, yeah.
Are people being too critical on films? It's literally the last 3 films are literally the
Also,
same
it was just reuniting them
formulas.
from Ex Machina. It's Donald Gleason.
Oh, that's
and
right.
those are the two
Yeah,
guys.
Oh my
exactly.
God, I totally forgot about that. That's a fucking crazy.
It's the
movie.
same
But
formulas.
that
with
scene-
different
well, I'm
shots
just
from
saying,
the first
that
3
scene-
films. That's all I'm saying. And people are being so fucking picky.
No, it's not a pickiness. It's like
is.
It's like I think the way that the Force Awakens ended and the way it was people were expecting this next movie to kind of set up and begin, like starts out with this goofy scene, right, where he's trying to like get time so that the rebels can get in position or some shit. Then there's this whole or rebels can escape or something, go into light speed or whatever. And it just sets this weird tone for the rest of the movie because like immediately after that scene, they're like, "Oh, fire on the rebels," and then they just start murdering people. Like
All
people
right.
are being murdered, and they show them getting murdered. It's not like oh ha ha ha, like this is a Disney movie. Like people get murdered, billions of people are dead, but we're just gonna laugh it off or play it off like
Yeah.
it's light and fluffy. They like show it,
Yeah.
and I was like, what a weird
You
transition
really-
from this goofy
You need
joke
to watch the first 3
to
films.
like this serious, heavy, slow mo like murder sequence where like the
The
rebels
only
are
reason they
being
didn't
brutally
do
murdered
slow
by
mo
the First
in the
Order.
first 3 films is because they didn't have the technology. But
I
if you
think that
about,
Rain Johnson was trying to
Look,
fuck people up, and he did it on purpose to
Kylo
piss
Ren-
people off. And they're
Kylo
like, "Why the
Ren-
fuck did you do that?" And he's like, "I don't know." Let's talk
Kylo
about
Ren
it."
versus
You like Knives
Luke
Out, though.
Skywalker.
Like what?
Knives Out.
Oh, I love Knives Out.
Kylo
That
Ren
was
versus
great.
Luke Skywalker. Dark Vader versus Obi-Wan Kenobi. Literally almost the same scenes.
I know they
telling
definitely
you,
tried
it's
to
the
like
same
mimic with
formulas.
this trilogy, like the first trilogy.
Yes,
They're trying to like
they
bring
used
things
a
back.
lot of
Yeah.
the same. It was rinse and repeats with the last storyline.
I kind of wish they had
and
just done
it
whatever
worked.
George Lucas's shit
You have-
was.
you have-
even
You
though it
don't
may
know
have been
that.
worse.
You don't know that.
Are you sure?
You don't know.
What?
It could
No.
have been amazing.
Could have been terrible.
Anything
You don't
could
know.
have been.
Yeah, you don't know. He did the other 3 films.
Yep. But you like Rise of Skywalker.
Didn't he like not even go watch these movies? Like they interviewed George Lucas. He's like, I'm
No, I
He
think
definitely
no,
watched.
he
I
was
know
there.
he definitely saw Force
No,
Awakens.
he was there on set.
He went on
There's
set.
shots of him on set on this
And
last
Mandalorian.
review.
Oh, the
I know
last
he went
movie.
to Mandalorian,
Yeah. He's been involved. He's
think
been
he-
like a consultant.
Yeah.
I read an article where he was like he was not happy
That's called
because
fake
I guess
news.
it was so different.
It was Force Awakens. Bob Iger
was one of
talked
my
about
fake
it in
channels.
his memoir. Bob Iger was talking about in his memoir that when George Lucas saw Force Awakens, he was really upset. And he was like, you didn't do anything different. It's just the same thing. You didn't go anywhere new. And that was the whole thing he always wanted to do with the new Star Wars movies was go to new planets, show new things.
Yeah.
And he's like, you didn't do anything new. And Bob was like, we had the task of basically reintroducing people to the Star Wars universe.
Why would you
through
need to
familiarity?
reintroduce people?
It's just that thing where it's like we want to give them what they know, but we didn't want to stray too much. We wanted to do that, and then in the future, the other movies, we could then start going out again. But we wanted to reground ourselves into this thing and bring people
But
in.
I feel like if they were going to do that, they should not have done it with like the last 3 movies of the 9 movie arc.
Here's the thing:
You know
I
what
like,
I mean? Like, it just-
I love them all. I really enjoy them.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Love.
I love them.
I do.
I've been entertained by these last
Jedi
3 movies.
is the weakest of the 3. I will admit that. Of the 3, but I think Rise of Skywalker for me, this was the best of the trilogy. I thought it's better than Force Awakens, it's better than The Last Jedi. I like Rise of Skywalker.
I agree
a
with
lot.
that. I would say
I debate and
This
agree
one-
with that, but I'm like there in agreeing with
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
It's like I don't have anything to argue that it's not.
Right.
But this is like, you know what these 3 films are for me? They're like the Hobbit 3 films. Like, you're like, yeah, I was entertained.
But they're not as good as
But
Lord of
they're
the
not.
Rings.
Yeah, they're nowhere near. Like,
Yeah.
you're not even going to put them in a trilogy category. Like, no one's going to be like, where does this trilogy compare to like all these other film trilogies? And
But that's
it's
for
gonna
us
be at
because
the
we
bottom
grew
of
up
the
on
list.
those. A lot of
another
kids,
film.
a lot of new people coming through, being introduced to this are probably going to like these newer ones more than they're going to like the older
Exactly.
ones. That's just the truth of the matter at this point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we've lived through all that stuff. I
feel
watched
bad
the
for kids. Although I don't know. I mean, there's movies I love that are garbage, so that I grew up with, that I can see.
Yeah, yeah, we know what you're talking
but I
about.
still love them.
Yeah.
My final thing is I loved it. I loved that
did
it
love it,
finalized the
Yep.
Skywalker storyline, and I was excited about it.
Yep, it had 56% critics on Rotten Tomatoes, but it had 89% audience. So I
Oh, they
think
dropped because it was like 93 when I.
Yeah,
looked.
but that happens over time when more people see
Because
it.
it
Like
keeps
that. But
coming in,
89%
yeah.
still a very high audience
high
score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show the loud guys being negative about it, they're probably dwarfed, honestly.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
dwarfed by people who actually enjoyed it and people who just like to go be entertained and enjoy a fucking movie. Take all your nerd shit.
This will be
And shoot
a
yourself.
complete Blu-ray set that I will buy.
Yep.
And
Yeah, I
rewatch
don't
it.
own any of them, which is unusual. I buy a lot of movies.
Yeah, yeah.
I own Disney, so I technically. So. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us here at Get to the Movies. That's Get to the Movies with the number 2. My name is Diego D'Souza.
I'm Nick Gambino.
And I'm Neil Carson.
Did I electrocute you? Did I electrocute? I'm trying to electrocute.
Yeah, that sounds good. Oh. What? He sounds like Pee Wee Herman having an orgasm.
I'm new to the Force. I'm trying to.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.